welcome back.
Whoop whoop.
So we have two special guests today.
All right, it's a very special episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. So Jacob, since this is the first guest that you invited, why don't you go ahead and introduce him?
I have invited my longtime friend and almost family. In fact, he is literally my brother. This is Jude. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi. You got me worried there. I was thought like Frank was going to go first. Yeah. Hi. Jake's brother.
Younger but bigger.
Younger but bigger. In various ways.
Wow.
But we'll leave that. That's not what I meant.
He has a bigger heart.
Yes.
I'm very jaded.
So, and then my guest is my little brother, my baby brother, Frankie. Aww. But he doesn't like to go by Frankie. He likes to go by Frank.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. What's up, Frank?
All right, hello.
All right, hello. He is a man of small talk. Little world. What is it? Little
Few words.
Few words. There we go.
He's a man of small talk. So how's the weather?
Small word. Few words. So we will hear him, but he won't be probably too many comments.
So there's a reason that we've invited these two. It's actually because they are subject matter experts in today's topic, which is...
We are going to be talking about video games, even though our last episode almost seemed like we were talking about video games instead of collections.
We should have like an 8-bit version, like doo-doo-doo of the intro music. That would be pretty good.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, me either.
I could probably help make it.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Believe it or not, I'm kind of experienced in this topic.
Oh, Jude is actually literally experienced in making 8-bit video game soundtrack music.
Oh, that's cool.
And kind of real music, but I wouldn't consider what I do music.
I mean, I'm the same way.
We'll find out.
Cool. So, once again, guys, sorry for the late upload last week. Hopefully this one won't be too late, because this is going to be our special episode, just we're aiming for 2 hours.
We're going to shoot for it somewhere around there, in the ballpark.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time to edit that. That will be fun.
Those 30 minutes of me making a drink didn't count then?
No, they don't.
Oh, shoot.
So how about a little background on each of our 4 players' video game experience? Raquel, do you play a lot of video games? Well,
before we do that, I would just like to also point out that Jude just had a birthday.
He did.
This is the one that we have given multiple shout-outs for birthdays for the past, 2 podcasts.
Yeah, you got a few.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very kindly.
You can tell there's recorded proof that I did not 100% know your birthday. However, I guessed the 24th. I was pretty sure it was the 24th, and I was correct.
I mean, you admitted it to me earlier. That's okay.
But I guessed right.
You did. You got it.
Frankie doesn't remember my birthday at all, or Nick's, so.
Or anyone's.
Or anyone's, exactly.
Jude is 20 now. He's finally joined the Cool Kids Club.
Yeah. It wasn't really cool till I got here, though, so don't get your hopes. I'm just kidding.
Saucy.
I'll mind myself this podcast, I promise.
First and last podcast he's been invited to.
Bye, guys. It's been fun.
Just kick him from the chat. No, I'm just teasing.
Jude's been banhammered.
No, we're always making fun of each other and the guests and the listeners, too.
Oh, yeah. We probably have lost so many listeners.
We hold no punches.
I'm trying to think if anyone specifically gets most of the punches. I don't think so. Everyone just gets under fire.
I was going to mention one, but I don't want to pull him back into the fire. We'll just let it. Speaking out of the past.
Cool. So let's go ahead and I guess we'll talk about what kind of consoles that we all play. Maybe some games that we're playing right at the moment. Consoles. I don't know, gaming systems, I guess. I don't know. How else do you call it?
Yeah, it's platforms. I'm just giving you a hard time.
There you go. Okay, platforms. Obviously, I am not the video game expert, or else I would have known that, I feel like. Anyways. So we'll talk about kind of what games we're playing, maybe what our favorite is. So, I guess I'll go first.
Sure, what do you play?
So I have an Xbox One.
Okay, cool.
I also have a Nintendo Wii U.
Wii U.
Out of the two, I probably played the Xbox One the most, which is not very much.
Top 3 games.
Top 3 games. Of course, Zelda.
Okay. For the Wii U, I assume, not...
I do like Breath of the Wild, but I think my favorite still, of course, is Ocarina of Time.
Oh, nice. A classic.
We'll probably get into that kind of topic later.
Oh, we definitely are.
Oh, for sure.
Let's see here. The Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Okay.
And, of course, Minecraft. Duh.
Oh, of course. A super classic.
Yeah, some of the games I'm playing right now. I just bought Mortal Kombat, so I haven't had a chance to play that yet. Frankie's been playing it mostly.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just also got Jump Force. I haven't had a chance to play that one.
I haven't even heard of that.
Jump Force is the one with all the anime characters in it.
Oh, all the shonen.
Yeah, So it's got Dragon Ball, Naruto.
And Shaggy going Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
No?
Oh, I got it.
That's me for now. So who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go. I play a lot of Fallout. Big Fallout fan. Looking
Don't
at
forget to say your platform.
the poster. Oh, yeah, PC gamer mostly. Not so much that I'm a snob, although I am a snob, but mostly because I just don't have, well, now I have a spot. Back when I was doing most of my gaming, I did not have a massive TV in a living room. So why would I have a console when I could just play on PC and just dedicate to that? So that's pretty much, it was more a restriction than anything. And that's pretty much what I play. Although I grew up on a GameCube. I played an Xbox 360, and we had a Wii as well. And I've played a little bit I've played a little bit of everything on different friends' house and stuff. That's pretty much that. I guess my top 3 games would be Fallout, like I mentioned, or pretty much anything Bethesda, except 76, because, I've also been playing a lot of World of Tanks. I do a lot of first-person shooters and stuff like that. Just different stuff. I like real-time strategy games, big Age of Empires fan. A little bit of everything.
Like, not a single one of those games, like, other than Fallout do I know.
Well, now I'm all over the place. Frank, how about you? What are you playing these days?
Well, PlayStation 4 player, and probably my 3 favorite games is most of the Assassin's Creed games, and
Okay.
and probably the Spider-Man game.
The new one?
Right now, yeah.
Okay, I got a buddy who played that. He said it's really good.
Yeah, and then right now I've been playing Days Gone. Right now it's pretty good.
Okay, very cool, very cool. And Jude, how about you?
Oh, I consider myself a little bit of an MLG gamer. I've been doing Fortnite and Doki Doki Literature. I'm just kidding. I haven't played any of those games. So, pretty much everything that you had when you were a kid, Jake, was an incredible influence on me. Completely unrelated. Just kidding. The first game I ever recall playing, besides like Pac-Man and stuff like that, was on GameCube. I think it was like 2006 when we got our GameCube, Jake.
Yeah, around there.
I remember you unboxing it on Christmas morning.
Oh, yeah.
That was really interesting. And the first game that I got to see you play was Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition.
Yeah,
The
classic.
promotional disc with the Wind Waker tutorial, or I guess trial. There we go. 30-minute demo. That was a 20-minute demo. I'm looking at it now. That was amazing.
It had Zelda 1, Zelda 2. It had
Majora's Mask, and Ocarina of Time. That was amazing for me, watching that. That was what I learned what a video game really, really was. Seeing the extent of that on, especially the cutting edge of 2006. The GameCube is something I still hold, very, very dear.
You've still got a GameCube that
Yeah.
Have you modded it, or you just know about modding it?
I just know about modding it. I don't really want to touch it. I want to keep it close to the original.
I got you.
Basically because it's a nostalgia machine.
Right.
For me, that's what I consider consoles.
You got 50 games for it, 4 controllers is pretty cool.
Yeah, I got my own little special case, and it's pretty cool. I keep it handy.
He wasn't kidding about the MLG part.
Yes, I was. I'm gonna get pinged by all these real MLG gamers. They're just gonna slam me on everything.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I've got a GameCube, and that's really the extent of my console knowledge.
But you do a lot of PC gaming too.
I do, but that's not a console.
Oh, or just talking platforms though.
Yeah. PC is pretty much where I spend most of my time. Majorly because since I was I think 12, I got into building computers.
Nice.
And that was maybe 13-ish. And I started really enjoying the platform of computers because I had so much control over what I could do. I think the 3 top games I'll play kind of varies, majorly because, well, I don't want to say majorly. I do like YouTube and stuff, so that kind of has an effect on it.
Yeah, the trends that come and go.
Mm-hmm. I've got a couple favorite games in my library, but I'll just talk about, I'm a huge fan of the Dark Souls series.
Oh, that's true.
I really enjoy the difficulty of that. I feel like you've got to put in a lot, but the amount you get out is a lot of reward for you.
Yeah, when you finally beat the challenge.
When you finally beat the challenge, it's kind of like that Rocky moment. You're putting your hands up over the stairway.
I think that's what Frankie plays, right? You play Dark Souls, right, Frank?
I played it, yeah. I played the second one.
The second one's the only one I haven't played.
I've heard that it's the best one. As far as so from a perspective of competitive player versus player, I've heard the second one is the best one for it.
Okay.
I don't really know why that person said that.
I played the second one, which was really... I didn't really know too much about it. I just knew it was a really good game, so I tried it pretty hard, but I got the hang of it.
Okay. Well, I hate to storm on all of you, but I've heard the second one is actually the worst in the series.
Well,
What is good about the second one is its DLC, though. That's one that everyone was going crazy about, majorly because they've got like a ham bat or something, and everyone loves using that in PvP. So that might have been what you heard.
maybe.
Granted, like, games are very specific to types of people who play them.
Oh, yes.
If you like Dark Souls 2, if you think it's a wonderful game, that's fine. You can think every game's good, like Fortnite, but...
Could you be wrong?
That's 2 Fortnite jokes. Just alienate those players.
That's Frankie.
Oh, no.
I've only played it with other people. I don't like playing it by myself.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You'd feel kind of like a loser if you played it by yourself.
That's 3.
Sorry. I'm just gonna, stop that.
Well, what about some don't you knows? Should we move on into the,
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit to our guests so that they kind of know what that is. I mean, they might know. So basically what we do is we just do don't you knows that we feel are, kind of unsaid rules about the topic, which would be video games.
Yeah, don't pick on Fortnite. That's one of them.
You don't want the kids hitting you back.
For the reference, or for future reference, I harbor no real ill will towards anyone who plays any game.
Yeah, it's all about having fun.
Usually. Unless they're better than me.
There are objectively better ways to have fun than others.
And normally what we do is we also start off with don't you know, and then whatever the unsaid rule is. We try to do that. It doesn't always work out.
So, do we have an example?
Okay, I can go ahead and start it. Don't you know that one does not simply pause an online game?
That's a good one.
Pretty good old meme. The mom, just come to dinner. I can't just save it and turn it off. I can't save it and turn it off.
I think Frankie, out of me, my brother, well, maybe Nick too. But Mom used to always do that to both of them. I didn't play too many online games, so I didn't really have that problem. But Mom would do it all the time to Frankie and Nick. Come on, go do this. Mom, I can't pause the game.
I've been on this mission for 45 minutes. If I exit now, it's all wasted. That's the worst.
Don't you know, slamming the keyboard is a surefire way to get your mom to not understand what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh man, slamming keyboards and equipment is like, oh my gosh. It's so cathartic. It's very nice, but then you break it, and that's not very nice.
Well, it terrified me as a child. Thanks, Jake.
Oh, I've gotten better. As if you've never thrown a controller. Come on.
I have never thrown a controller.
Never thrown a controller.
I've never done it.
Don't you know?
Don't you know? Sorry. I was
Don't
going to
you
say,
know-
don't you know? Oh my gosh.
There is like a
Shut up.
second delay because we're East Coast to West Coast, so sometimes
Go for it,
it's
Raquel.
tough to get used to.
You own the show. Go for it.
Okay. Don't you know if you die for a stupid reason that you have to rage quit?
Sometimes the stupid reason is called the rest of my team, though. How do you handle that?
Sometimes the stupid reason is called get good.
I guess we could talk about
Well, your brother had a, don't you know?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I forgot it.
Oh, okay.
I was just say, don't you know, don't interrupt Raquel while she's doing her don't you know. So, how about I take this path on a course then? How about we talk about the applications of video games in real world? Yeah, things that they have an application to. So that was something I was expecting you guys to ask.
What do you mean, like applications? So do you mean like how it like improves reflexes, or like will make your driving better, or something like that?
Yeah, let's go. That sounds good.
Okay, I can talk on that. I do some VR racing, and once upon a time, I looked at the radio, and when I looked up, the person in front of me hit his brakes. Admittedly, I was following a little closely, but yeah, I definitely swerved. I think I talked about this on a previous episode. But yeah, VR racing, definitely dodged obstacles in there, and yeah, I believe that translated into that maneuver.
It doesn't help you with not stalling.
Oh my gosh, I'm quitting. I'm going. I was gonna do the leave call noise, but I couldn't find it. Fiddly-doo.
Raquel, if I could see your hand, I'd be high-fiving.
Oh my gosh.
You stalled what?
Two people who literally are unable to move a manual vehicle out of park are high-fiving each other. Good job.
That's not true.
Great
That's
job.
not true.
Great job.
I stalled my fair share.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. Jacob has stalled twice. Well, I haven't gone very many places with Jacob, but the few times I have, he has stalled twice while I've been in the car.
It only happens when somebody's in the car. It only ever happens. I'd be driving my car, for the first time. I'd been driving for, less than a year when I got my car, obviously. But, I'd be driving with my dad, and I'd be a perfectly fine driver on the road all the time. Very safe. I never wanted to, throw my car into situations where it wouldn't be good, because it's very low torque. I don't want to get stuck in an intersection or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for some reason, the second my dad gets in the car, it becomes a drag race to get in the earliest accident I could possibly find.
Oh, no.
And it'd be something like my dad just being like, "Go, you're holding up traffic," or something like that. And it'd just try to shoot in the intersection. He'd be like, "You didn't see that car or whatever?" And he'd sit there and berate me the entire drive home on what a bad driver I am or something like that. It only happens when somebody's in the car. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I can drift my car sideways. I can park it fine, but nope, forget it.
Forget it. He can't just not stall.
Back to video games.
I was gonna say, let's detour. I was trying to take it on that route. So when I was a kid, obviously video games, really large influence of mine. In fact, coming to this college, Florida Polytechnic, one of our majors here is game design, and taking a collegiate path in working on the specifics of applications to creating games. Game sound design, platforming, and coding. A lot of these things go into it. There's a lot of work that does go into it. But my point here is it was a huge influence on me, seeing the world on the brink of technology out in 2006, just the explosion of technology at the time. People just finding all these different ways to do these different things and express these different things through this medium. And for me, that kind of became how movies started to replace books. Granted, I'm not trying to trigger a bunch of people by saying that, because there's a lot of people that like books, but it's undeniable that movies hold a precedence in media just the same as books would. And for me, that started to become the idea of a medium where artists could express their intentions and art behind creating a world. The very fine specifics of, you have atmosphere, and you've got sound, soundtracks, and you've got the coding, you've got AI, you've got a bunch of things to throw in.
Everything from storytelling, rhythm in there as well.
Sure. Not only is it an artistic medium, but it's an intellectual medium that people can find new ways to advance, artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Or even ways that people can train themselves, like you look at online FPS, CSGO, or something like that. I saw a game, and I actually picked it up. I think it was free, but it's an FPS trainer. It's a game made to help you get better at a game, completely about reflexes.
Huh.
And it's called I think it's just literally just called FPS trainer or something.
What is it? You just click on obstacles as they appear really quickly or something like that?
Oh, no. It's basically think Unity engine version of CS:GO with a bunch of bots.
Okay.
And it's just got a bunch of loaded in community fan made levels. To train specific things like reflex or Twitch shots and stuff like that.
Drop shots. Get that dolphin drop.
Yeah, the 360 no scope.
There you go.
Train your teabagging and stuff.
But how's that any different than just playing multiplayer online a lot, though? I guess you can get into the fights better or set up scenarios easier.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't really used it a lot, so I'm not an expert in it.
Okay.
It's not really exactly what I was trying to talk about specifically.
Oh, fair enough.
As much as when I was a kid, I was told a lot of, video games are going to rot your brain, or there's no future in video games. If you don't do your schoolwork, then you're going to become a lazy bum on the side of the street. And, Granted, I am a lazy bum on the side of the street.
Yeah,
but
same.
I play video games, too. And I have a good time with it.
Now, being a consumer of a video game is way, way different than being a producer, though. There are completely different skill sets.
100%.
I think, if you're going to be a video game designer, that's way different than... You can't just play games and do that. You definitely have to do your schoolwork. But I think that a lot of these people want to grow up to be, Twitch streamers and literally just play video games or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or some people want to be video game testers, and even then, that's not as much fun as you really think it is.
Definitely. And that's one of the things I was kind of getting at, is that it's opened up a huge field. People didn't really expect to be there. It's people who wanted to spend their entire lives playing video games for a job. Granted, some people can do that, but it's very, very few.
Yeah.
And the people who normally get into these fields, gaming design, I was looking at and I talked with a lot of people who are in that field, and though it is what they want to do, it's a lot different than what they were expecting because it's a lot of work to make a video game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that go into it. The coding. Jake, you code.
Well, I know a little tiny bit of coding. I won't say I code.
Oh, shoot. Well, you know a little tiny bit of coding. These people who know a lot of tiny bits of coding are having really, really hard times with creating artificial intelligence for a game.
But that's when you see a lot of like crosswork though. Like you see them pulling in AI from different games and things like that.
Sure, you got bootstrapping and things like that.
Yeah. Or using Source Engine and stuff.
There's jobs that have come out of this medium. There is beautiful concepts, beautiful things of art that have come out of, these mediums. And you see, 2D platforms that tell and move a medium story. Freebird Games being a good one of them. I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
No.
Raquel, do you know To the Moon?
No, I don't think so. But I think I have heard Freebird Games, though.
Yeah. So they're basically, I think, is a Japanese producer. And he does a lot of, heavy original soundtrack, motivated, stories and things. One of them's where, it's two doctors. They'll go into a man's dreams, a dying man's dreams to fulfill his last wishes artificially through his memories. And you have a huge dedication of a fan base to these guys' games because they do just such a good job telling stories. You look through the comments of the games and it's like, if you didn't cry, you're a monster or something like that.
Funny, you have no heart.
Yeah, when I was a kid, the extent of my knowledge of video games, or even my mom or whatever, I don't want to say or whatever to my mom because I love my mom, but
Frankie does.
Sorry, Frank. But a lot of unexpected avenues have come out of the huge, just an explosion of focus on this territory, and it has so much application in the real world now because people have wanted it to go in that direction of having application.
Well, yeah, since Pong, I mean, it has led technology so hard, and that's just the nature of it, is developing for that. Because that's if you think about it, it's really hard to make a HUD for let's say you want to make a little floating thing because it's easier to work in the virtual world before you apply things to the real world. And so it makes sense that people are going to build things for video games before they build things for real life. And they're going to model that. And so if you look modern day, how the soldiers have UIs with floating holograms and things that go over targets, that's just the same stuff you're doing in Call of Duty. Is, that's a good guy, that's a bad guy. That stuff's real, and they're modeling Call of Duty because that's making billions of dollars, and the military's expensive,
I was looking up some research by National Center for Biotechnology Information, and they posted back in, I think, 2007. No, it's 2011. They're talking about the real definable increases in people's perception and cognition through simulations and virtual training through video games. They're actually speaking about a lot of FPS and stuff like that. Do action video games improve perception and cognition? Mm-hmm. And it was an outstanding improvement above peers who didn't have any training and things like this because they're not actively using a lot of their reflexes like some of these people are.
I believe it 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's indisputable.
Yeah. The evidence there.
I mean, shoot. We talk about Jake. I think you told me about this one, and I looked it up. It is Enzo Bonito in, I think, January 19th, 2019. This man trained literally solely on F1.
The video game.
Yeah, the video game. Obviously, they had to, teach him how to drive the F1.
The headline that he's talking about is called "A Guy Trained on Video Games Just Beat a Formula One Driver on a Real Racetrack."
Correct. And it wasn't even, close. It was, by 2 seconds.
That's monumental in a high-speed race like this.
This is a video gamer.
And you got to think about it because you can practice so much more. It's so cheap. You buy a video game and you can play it until your computer stops working. And how many hours of track time are you going to get? Versus if you have a car and you have to buy tires and you have to buy gas and you have to change the oil and you have to do all this maintenance work, that is extremely expensive to maintain your skills and build them. Mm-hmm. So you can just physically get more time.
How do you dispute the application of video games in the real world as a multi-billion-dollar business with, billions of people who follow this actively and just, have a huge devotion to it? I don't want to, exclaim billions because I don't know if billions do. I would expect as much. But at some point, you start to realize the huge application this has in real world. It's a new art medium. And in my opinion, I think it's one of the best art mediums because it's full body immersion, especially with VR coming out. They've found improvements of technologies to immerse their immerse, I don't want to say customers, like onlookers, viewers, the people they're projecting to.
Consumers.
They found new ways. Yeah, consumers. There we go. They found new ways to project their art, their medium, what they're trying to express onto their consumers, and they can now do one full body immersion. Well, I don't want to say full body immersion because you can't smell VR or anything like that, but it's VR. You're in there, and you see how much application this could have, especially in expressing these mediums. And I guess I'll leave it at that, but it's just interesting to me to see how much has grown out of it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, Frankie and I we were actually just yesterday when we were driving home, we were talking about that, because he was like, he was saying because he plays video games, his reflexes have increased, and I was like, I think video games do increase reflexes, but the question is whether or not it increases all your reflexes. I feel like depending on the video game that you play or whatever, it only increases certain reflexes, not all of them. Kind of like similar when similar when a baseball player plays, they probably have a quicker reflexes to catch something thrown at them or dodge something thrown at them, but doesn't mean like all their reflexes are increased. They might not be able to like slap something really quick because that's not a reflex that they develop.
Right, that's a physical, like your muscles contracting is different than your mind setting off the nerves, you know? So that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was saying I was telling him like, your reflexes probably increase, but probably not for every single thing. Just certain things that would apply to video games.
I think a lot of it is thinking, too. You can make those connections.
Yeah. Frankie, do you have a don't you know?
Not really.
Because you told me one where you said if you don't, you had a couple. You said one, I wrote it down because I wasn't sure if you were going to be a guest. If you didn't kill them, don't take the loot.
Loot stealing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
At RuneScape Wilderness.
Some games will that is a pretty big deal. In games that don't auto share loot, if you start picking up your teammates' loots, you're not going to have teammates very long.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's also talking about like MNE players when you have like multiple people. And maybe you kill someone and they're super far away and you just don't have time to go over there, and then someone else comes up and takes the loot.
Well, I had a friend, we were playing he was talking about how he used to play RuneScape, and there's this area called the Wilderness where you go over and it's player versus player.
PKing in the wildy.
You get to take all that person's loot if you kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people would go out there just to, like fight each other and get each other's stuff, and hopefully it was like the equivalent of like lottery for, I want to say, like hungry 14-year-olds who couldn't actually do any gambling. They just go out there and see what they could do. One of my friends said he'd just go out there without like any equipment or anything, wait for someone to die and run up and take their stuff. And then
yoink.
Yoink, and he'd yeet out of there, as the kids would say. And he'd get followed by like 12 players. And he just run to the Grand Exchange and sell it all.
That's funny. And then you lie vastly about what you picked up. Oh, you had a party hat. You have a party hat. What's he doing in the wildy with a party hat? I don't care who you are, you're not going into the wildy with a party hat. There's no way.
We might have to do that now, Jake.
I have a good don't you know, which it works out very well because we both have our younger brothers on as guests. But don't you know, when you're forced to let your younger sibling play the video game, you must complain.
Complain?
You must complain.
Like, well, see, I guess maybe it's not as big a difference for you, but like, for me and Frank, he's 10 years younger than us. So when me and Nick used to play, I don't remember what games we used to play, but you would have the little 2-year-old, 3-year-old wanting to play too. And you're like, and mom or dad would be like, you have to let them play. You're watching them, it's like Homer Simpson game or something like that. And you're watching them and you're like, where are you going? Go do the activity right over there. Oh, you're never going to die. Because you would change out who would play based on who died, and they would never die because they weren't actually doing anything.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny. Whoever, you have to die twice or 20 minutes. Like, come on.
I've got a counter, don't you know?
Oh, what's that?
Don't you know when your little brother wants to play a game you're technically good at, starts doing better than you have to raise the difficulty?
Oh, of course. You gotta make it a little harder.
You're not playing the game how you're supposed to. You're not struggling like I was.
I don't know what you're talking about. You must be talking about Luke.
I was totally talking about Luke.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. I'd be like, here, try this game. It's really fun, but it's kind of hard. It's really good. Or whatever. And you play it, and he just, like, finds a way around all these problems that I didn't because I wanted to go into this thing, like, head first. And I'm like, no. Oh, you gotta play on a higher difficulty or something. It's like doing better.
That's funny.
But I never let him know.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Different difficulties. I got so salty once I was playing a racing game, and I set it up, and I set up the difficulty so it's set up like a real car, because I'm like, okay, it's racing simulator, and so we'll be on fair grounds. And then I got my behind handed to me, and I realized after that I changed the difficulty for myself. And so the other person had the easy handling and the easy racing line and the auto braking and everything. And then they beat me and I was so frustrated.
That wasn't me, was it?
No, it was at college.
Okay.
I pretty embarrassed myself pretty hard, but it was ridiculous. Like I was like, oh, let's do this race. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, pick a car that you think is kind of cool. He picks the McLaren F1. He literally just sorted by class and then just picked the top one. I'm like, you dog. I should have picked it too. That was lame. Why should I pick the fastest car? What is this car? Who makes it? Where is it from? What country does it hail from? Is it front engine, mid engine? What is it? Come on, you don't know anything about this car. You just picked it because it's on top. I hate you.
I feel like someone's still salty about it.
Nah. Nobody liked him anyway.
Don't you know, don't beat Jake in a racing game.
No. I don't mind if it's fair.
Only if it's Mario Kart.
I don't mind losing a fair fight. I literally don't mind losing a fair fight.
I think I remember you complaining a lot when we played Mario Kart.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what you're talking about. I literally don't remember playing Mario Kart with you.
Ashley had the Wii remotes, and we used to play Mario Kart all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You probably don't remember because I think we were drinking.
I don't drink.
We always seem to bring up the Mario Kart when we were drinking.
I heard of something called, it's, I don't remember what they call it, but it's like drunk Mario Kart. That's not what it's called. It was something more clever. Basically, the idea is that you get a drink, and you have to finish the drink before you finish the race. But you can't drink and drive. That's bad. So you have to pull over to the side anytime you drink your drink.
That's awesome.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, I wish we had known that game.
Yeah, me too.
I can't play Mario Kart anymore, personally. It's been ruined with F-Zero.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're onto something a little different.
F-Zero is kind of like, imagine Mario Kart, but everybody wants to actually kill you. Not just like, hit you with a shell or anything. They want to actually see your car explode into pieces.
Oh, wow.
He's talking about F-Zero Grand Prix. This is the game that Captain Falcon is from.
Oh, okay.
Show your moves!
Show me your moves! Yeah, you literally go over 1,000 kilometers an hour in-game.
It's completely ridiculous. It's like an anime, basically. Anime video game, pretty much.
I've found myself doing like 0.1 second reflexes on things like I didn't even know I could do. I would put down the game after like finishing story mode or something, and I'd go like dodge bullets outside. It was amazing.
He goes to school in a rough spot.
All the other kids. Sorry.
We went to school in a rough place as long as you crossed the bridge. So, let's see. I guess the only other don't you know, and I mean, we have other topics we could talk about, but this is the last don't you know I have written down at least, is that PS4 users suck, Frank.
Wow.
We had a game that won Game of the Year, so I can't really say anything.
Every game is Game of the Year. You could pick up any game on the shelf and it'll say, oh, Game of the Year edition. It's like, I didn't know this one.
No, it actually did win an award for Game of the Year.
Which one was it? Her Story? No, I think that was last year. I'm just teasing.
It was a God of War that won.
Oh, okay, I've heard that's pretty good. You got a buddy playing that.
It was really good.
I mean, the God of War series has always been really nice.
I've heard there's a lot of glitches in that one, though.
Well, there's glitches in a lot of games.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see no glitches.
You weren't playing it right then.
I guess I wasn't.
You should always be looking for those glitches.
I know, they're the fun ones.
Yeah.
Man.
No. I'm just going to throw it out there. Every game on PC is going to be Game of the Year.
If everything's highlighted, nothing is highlighted. Yeah, I mean, the console war whole thing, and then the PC Master Race thing, it's blah. It's always fun, but...
I feel like a lot of times you have Xbox gamers and then PS4 gamers. They're always competing about which one's the better. And then you have computer gamers who are just kind of doing their own thing. And then you have the Wii, the Nintendo ones, they're kind of like,
So the big thing that it boils down to is button layout. Do you like a symmetrical controller, like the PS4, or do you like the offhand controller like the Xbox? And then why do you like those or whatever? So that's the big argument. But then the other argument is what games are for each one. Of course, the thing with the industry is that there's a lot of like trade deals and stuff. So like, oh, we'll give you $20 million if you don't release this for Xbox. Okay. Does that make the PlayStation better? No. It just segregates your market. And so like when that whole sort of thing is just like money making business, big like pushers and pullers. I hate that whole side of things. Then you go to the PC side and you can a lot of times get games for both sides. They'll still come to PC. And it's like anybody can play anything. You can plug in either controller scheme to the PC. You can put a PC in your living room and play on your TV. The PC does it all. It's the master race. Oh, I said it. Whoops.
Whoops. Sorry, Jake's not very popular
Sorry,
in my
not
eyes.
sorry.
Yay, Jacob!
No, for me that button layout comes out to, do you want to get off of school and come look at your button layout looking like a bunch of variables, or do you want it to look like your pre-spoiled toy box? Anyway, so, not to dismiss that, but they actually just released, I just heard word of PS5 and the new Xbox, I think, or the Xbox One X come out yet? I'm very behind.
I know that Xbox One X, I think it did come out already. I don't know if they're going to come out with anything. I know at one point they were talking about a VR set for the Xbox, but I don't know where exactly they are in that process.
They'll probably use the Windows mixed reality headset because they're owned by Windows. That's my guess, because that's a pretty good headset.
That would be pretty awesome. I definitely would get that. But it probably would come out on the X, so I'd have to get the Xbox One.
Okay, so I just looked it up. It's apparently the PS5 won't launch in the next 12 months.
Okay.
I was hearing a lot of hype about the new PS5, and it's really kind of weird to me, because Xbox and PlayStation, to my knowledge, haven't really been releasing a lot of new... They've had new models, but they haven't really released new consoles.
Yeah, they
in like a really long time. And I kind of just like got complacent hearing like, oh, PS4 and Xbox One or whatever. And that's fine. None really like apply to me. They're inconsequential in my life.
You need to get that Uju box or whatever that was.
The Ouya.
Yeah, Ouya.
Yeah, Ouya. And it's like hearing PS5 and just like expecting this whiplash of console wars again. It's like the new Star Wars episode just came out.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, is it going to be Rebellion or is it going to be Sith? You know? It's going to be Xbox or is it going to be PS5? And it's looking like actually Xbox is still going to be a bit more powerful. But I don't know. It could go either way.
Oh, no.
PS5's got like another year to release, so I'd expect they'd want to make it more powerful.
I'm pretty sure they're supposed to have 2 new games with it, which are only on the PlayStation. Something like Ghost Tsushima or something like that. And then you have, I think The Last of Us 2 is supposed to be on the PlayStation 5.
That's one that I'm a little, like, I would love to play The Last of Us. I've heard it's fantastic.
It was, yeah.
I can kind of play the theme on my mandolin.
Nice.
I think, like, Nintendo is really the only one that has, like, consistently came out with consoles every, like, so often.
3DS, I don't think 2DS, 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS XL, and 3DS, or new 2DS really count as new consoles, except for the Switch.
Yeah, I would not call the DS, like, handhelds. I don't call... Okay, that's kind of an interesting thing. I don't really call a handheld a platform, or a console, obviously, but the Switch, to me, is definitely a console.
Yes.
And I don't know where I draw that line.
And it's, okay, I don't have one, but I have a lot of friends who have one. And from what I see, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, they seem really good.
They're doing a lot of cross-platform stuff with them. They're not cross-platform, but like they've got Skyrim, they've got Doom, you know, games Nintendo has never like dreamt about touching. They've got it on there now.
I know, it's very impressive. I keep hearing stuff like that, and I'm like, how'd they get that on there?
And one, it blows my mind because Nintendo. I don't want to say like Nintendo has always been like a child friendly.
Well, they've always had a more open market. They really have. They do that intentionally.
Well, the thing is, like, think about Resident Evil, the entire Resident Evil series on Nintendo. You know, they've had their games. They've had their games.
Yeah, it was always there. You had Mad World for the Wii, and Silent Hill had a Wii game.
Yeah, and though, granted, it's not, like, overwhelming, they've been roping in so many people now because they've been, like, branching out. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see, especially with their new CEO, or their new, is it the president? New guy, Bowser?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Just the chief, the head, I guess. The king. The king.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where this goes. I think you're going to find them in a lot more places than they weren't.
It would be so funny if he, like, just, like, completely, like, capitalized on being in charge. The next games they have are Bowser Kart, and Bowser Party, and Bowser Universe.
That'd be really good.
For the longest time, I didn't even know that, like, the Wii even had, like, not the Wii U or the Wii Switch, but, like, just the first Wii. I didn't even know that, like, it could connect to the internet.
Well, it was arguable, but yeah.
So you didn't read the whole booklet front to back?
No, I just I always thought, because of the games, it was the family friend games.
She thought getting parents' permission on Nintendo Power was enough.
Don't you know when you get a new game or console, you have to read the book front to front, especially while your
Nope.
dad drives you home from the video game store.
Nope, never did that.
Never did that? Oh man, I always used to do that. I'd get the games and I'd open them up and I'd have that whole book finished by the time you pull in the driveway. Then I'd pop it in and I already know how to play this game. Skip breeze
Do
through
they
the
even
tutorial.
come with books anymore?
Probably not. Everything's
think they
digital.
do.
I'm sure they do if you get them. Certainly they have to if you get them
I
physical.
don't think so. Did the Mortal Kombat have a booklet, Frankie?
Not that I know of.
What?
I don't think it came with a book.
That's
Yeah.
heresy.
The case is really cool.
It should have a 100-page booklet with bios for all the characters and their special moves and everything. That's how it should work.
What game store are you coming from?
Soul Calibur had that. No, it's not the game store that does it. It's the companies that make them.
Yeah, but you said you read the whole booklet by the time you got home from the game store. I'm saying, what game store are you
I'm-
going to?
I'm a
that
fast
you read
reader.
The
I
whole
know
book on
you
the way
just
home?
learned, but
Got him!
I mean, you skim and whatever, but I would definitely do that.
So that kind of brings up an interesting topic that I was talking with my friends about the other day. We were talking about how it seems like a lot of difficulty has been taken off the shoulders of video games with the development of the internet to modern day internet. And you think about there was a time where if you were stuck on a game, you couldn't just look it up.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
You had to go to a library and you had to check out Nintendo Power or something, or you had to wait till all your friends figured it out, or till word got around, or MySpace, somebody posted it or whatever. I don't know.
Go to game FAQs. That's where it's at back in the
Exactly.
day.
We used to just solve it.
And that was an interesting topic for me to talk about because it was something I was never really raised in.
Mhm.
By the time I got kind of really submerged into video games, internet was already a huge thing.
Oh yeah.
And you could find whatever you needed anywhere.
Yeah, just walkthroughs on YouTube or whatever.
Exactly. And I was never really forced to use a lot of that problem solving that the old games like Pokemon. Let's just say Pokemon, for instance.
It depends, because if you're pulling up a walkthrough, you've already given up.
Well, see, when Nick and I used to play, one of the biggest things I've noticed it with is Zelda. 'Cause we all play it.
Yeah.
And I used to solve all the problems for Nick on Zelda.
I'd used to solve all the problems for Jake on Zelda.
Yeah, it's true. I got stuck in the Dodongo Cavern every time.
And I'd just be throw a rock at him.
I used to be like, Nick, what are you doing? And I yell at Nick, too.
was a joke. I got my Zelda pride. I gotta hold it.
But the newer ones, I have noticed, especially with Frankie and all that, they have to look up stuff. It's not as I feel like it's not quite as easy. Some of the problem solving is not quite as easy because they expect you to look it up now.
Oh yeah. I don't know if anyone ever expects you to look it up, but
I would disagree. I would
No.
totally argue the counterpoint to that, and not to throw you under the bus, but I think we've had some really sloppy game writing lately. There hasn't been as much focus on creating a medium of art as I was speaking about earlier with a lot of game developers lately. You take any Call of Duty and compare it to any Call of Duty, and it's the same game.
now a lot of people would argue with that, though. Some people have said that the single.
They
player-
also play consoles, so I don't care.
I've now the early game Call of Duties were super good. The single players were just amazing. The original Modern Warfare is a legendary single player storyline. I don't know if you've ever played through it, but it is definitely up there. I want to knock on the whole the whole Call of Duty franchise, even though I don't play them that much.
They have their place. I'm just joking around, but
Yeah, that's
there's been a lot of focus on okay, let me just take the entirety of EA.
true.
Yeah, bring them up.
Yeah.
They get bad already.
Here we go. Let's open this package. All right. So, loot boxes, endgame. Let's talk about the lack of attention to user base. The people that they're actually making these games for. And what they're trying to do a lot nowadays, and I see it and it actually really makes me really sad, is they're making money, which you'd expect out of a company, a corporation. That's fine.
And yeah, for knowing that making money, every company has to, whatever, it's necessary evil, making money.
It is, and you want to support the developers.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm all for that. And in fact, I stopped pirating games, yesterday, just so that way I'm just kidding. You want to support the developers, and that's fine. And every gamer knows that. But it gets to a point where you see them trying to rope more and more people into their user base rather than making a product for the devoted fans who've been there for a long time. And these are the people who grew up on FAQs, and these are the people who grew up on solving really hard problems and things like that. And they're not getting out of these games what they used to. And I don't know if it's just lack of inspiration of game developers nowadays, or if it's literally just a need for money due to like different medias and things like people pirating. I don't know if pirating's still that bad. Like, I'm sure it is. Like, I guarantee it is. But there becomes a point where developers become accountable for what they put out. And you see this in games like the new Metroid Prime. I think Metroid Prime 4. I think I was talking to you about this earlier, Jake. They actually stopped the whole production of this game. I think it's Nintendo was working on it directly.
Oh. I see what you're saying.
Basically, what's happening was they almost had the entire game done, right? The community is like
has been waiting for this game for like 10 years.
Bleeding wrists devoted to this game. You know, it's like Half-Life 3 for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're waiting on this game for a long time. They're like, it's coming. And they had the whole game done, like ready to ship it out. And they brought in the guy who did the original games, and he said, this isn't right. They scrapped the whole thing and they said it's not coming out for like another year and a half or two. And the community was completely fine with that. They're like, yeah, just do what you gotta do. We just want a good game.
Bingo. The tough thing is that is so expensive. And if you're not Nintendo or some big industry, you physically can't do that. You have to go, we gotta get it out. We'll do better next on the second version.
Anthem.
At Anthem. Nice one, Frank.
I mean, that game, like, I think they, like, literally started, like, the month it was coming out. Because it's literally just the same thing over and over.
I was playing it last night with the same friend I was talking about with this. I was reading, and I just happened to glance around the bottom left corner of the box and saw EA, so that's funny. Yeah, I didn't play it enough to actually depict what was wrong with it, but a lot of repetition. And you get more focus on Flash and drawing customers in than you do about giving out a solid product anymore. It makes a lot of gamers very untrusting of developers nowadays.
I mean, the they need to start playing their own video games. They need to play it. Because I heard the people who made Anthem didn't play any of it.
Which one's Anthem? I'll Google it. It sounds familiar.
It's not really worth the Google.
It had such a good, it had something good going on.
You know what happened? They gave up when they heard the announcing of Borderlands. That's what happened. They're like, oh, shoot.
I'm pretty sure Borderlands is going to be the best.
Yeah. Did I see 4 billion guns or something like that? I don't know if it was a meme or not.
I wouldn't put it past them to put that much.
I really wouldn't either. They're phenomenal. And I haven't played a Borderlands. I've just, I know the hype behind them.
They're pretty fun. They feel a lot like Destiny, or we were playing, what were we playing a second ago? Warframe. We were just playing Warframe. It feels a lot like that, but a little more cartoonish, more Fallout, less Space Marine.
I see.
I play Minecraft.
Yeah.
Minecraft is so good.
That's a good topic, actually.
Yeah, let's talk about Minecraft. Raquel, what's your what do you think about Minecraft?
Don't you know, when you play with Jacob,
Oh
you
my
have
gosh.
to build stuff that is illogical.
Oh my
Because it
gosh.
drives him crazy.
Oh my gosh. Raquel's existence in life is to troll me.
Like stuff that can't physically is impossible. So like a floating building.
So we're playing together, and I'm building this beautiful tower on this hillside over this bend. I've picked the perfect spot, and I've built it, and I'm designing it into the mountainside or into the
Extreme
countryside.
biomes drilling through a floating rock.
Wait, are you talking about me? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that was a whole different playthrough. No. This
Okay.
was a little more natural. So I built a castle with a wall going along, and it was just nicely placed. And then right next door, Raquel has just a flat rectangular prism jutting out over, imagine if you had a magic floating bridge that you just got tired of magically making halfway and turned into a house. That's what it looked like. And it was bright blue or something.
I spent so much time. It took me forever to make it because I had to make all this blue concrete powder
Oh, yeah.
so I can make a blue concrete building. And then you go inside, it's all rainbow.
Garish as possible. And I mean,
Wow.
as long as you're having fun. But
Each room is a different color.
so I put up a beautiful wall so I couldn't see the eyesore from my tower. It's really good.
It was all one color on the outside. It hung over, it was like a valley kind of thing with a river down at the bottom. So basically you could just jump over the railing and into the water.
Yeah, like a little diving board. That's pretty handy.
You can go fishing, and you can go fishing too, just right from your little I had a balcony kind of thing. You could just go fishing.
That was a fun little Minecraft session. I was actually really happy with my little tower thing there.
We should all play a game of Minecraft.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or we should play a game of Tekkit.
Ooh.
I don't know what that one is.
Tekkit is modded Minecraft, so you can build a quarry that automatically digs an area for you, and you can pipe all the resources back and have them automatically turn your ore into dust, and so you get 2 dust, and it macerates them, Then you can make 2 ingots out of those using machinery and stuff.
I think it's when you played that, Jacob.
Very possibly. I've played a lot of it back in the day.
I think that's when I saw it.
Imagine Minecraft grew up, and that would be second.
Yeah, if you said, I could use a machine to water this farm. I could use a sprinkler. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if I could, like, automatically milk these cows? It's like refining human life into, and that's when you start like realizing that like the whole purpose of life is automation, and like future is like bleak because we're just gonna make robots do all our jobs, and you start like thinking down that headspace and get really terrified, and then go, wait, come back, we're just playing Minecraft.
Well, I haven't done that yet, thanks, Jake.
Deep existential crisis from this children's game.
Here's the thing, though, is that Frankie has a PS4, so he can't play Minecraft with the rest of us.
Darn.
What do you mean? I have a computer.
PS4 isn't cross-play with Minecraft. Oh, you have a computer.
He's got a toaster in the kitchen. Everything runs Minecraft nowadays.
Just go outside, we could all play together.
We can't. You gotta live across the country.
We're on a different server. That's funny.
Yeah, he does have a computer. We could do that. That'd be fun. We do keep talking about doing that.
The Java version I can play in VR, and that's just mind blowing. But if I'm playing the cross-platform while you're on the Xbox, if I'm playing the app version, I cannot play VR.
Don't you mean mind-blowing?
Ooh,
Ooh,
so it really TNT's my head.
That is pretty cool. I definitely want to try your VR set when I come visit.
Oh, for sure.
Whenever that may be.
So much to do. Yeah, it's super good. We got a VR arcade just down the street from my house, and I literally have not gone to it yet. They've got an arcade with VR, a 10-minute walk, a 5-minute walk from my house, and I have not gone.
We have like a whole bunch of those everywhere here.
Well,
there's actually a VR maze in, I think it's like Hollywood.
Interesting.
Like an actual like maze, you're in like real life maze kind of thing, and then they have the VR set. So you're going through this maze, but with the VR set, it looks like something completely different.
That's pretty crazy.
So next time we come out, we should check that out. And then we have like a VR arcade in every single mall.
Pretty good way to do it, because it's such a hard buy-in. But to do it as like an arcade, brilliant. Great way to do it.
I think there's like this one place in downtown, I think it's called Two Pits Circus. And it's got like arcade games and like a restaurant and a show and stuff like that. But some of the arcade games I think are VR.
Nice. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. My dad and I were going to check it out at some point, but he didn't get off work in time, so we didn't do that.
Oh, I gotcha. Don't you know, if you're visiting your friend's house, you're probably going to get the bugged up Player 2 controller.
Third party.
Yeah, the Mad Catz controller.
Interestingly enough, having 4 controllers for my GameCube. Controllers are kind of hard to come by for like older consoles.
And newer consoles too. They're heckin' expensive.
But people don't make original GameCube controllers anymore.
Right.
You know.
You have to go to one of those ones that have all the like older consoles.
Yeah, the retro game shops.
Yeah.
Or the swap meet.
You would think going to a STEM school where everyone plays video games, that they would learn to wash their hands before you hand them your limited edition GameCube controller.
Ew.
Oh no.
Wipe your boogers on your pants first.
And so now they get those very thin plastic ones that you gave me for Christmas, Jake.
That's a good don't you know, clean your hands before touching someone's controller.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if you ate or something or whatever.
Keep your Cheetos to yourself. Your gamer fuel stays off the controller.
Yep.
That's pretty funny.
The only problem for me is my hands start sweating.
Oh yeah, when you get right into the game and you're like really intense. I know that for sure. It's funny.
Don't you know the youngest sibling always gets Player 2?
I always think it's funny. I like that meme when it's like when your friend starts complaining about the controller, so you kick his butt with that controller. They swap and still grind him to dust, and then he never comes over anymore.
Oh, does that happen to you, Jacob?
Oh man, that's so
I
funny.
wish I had friends.
I don't have any anymore. That's so funny, because home field advantage is so... Because it's like, you remember when we played, I would bring people over to play Crawl. You remember playing Crawl, Jude?
I introduced you to Crawl.
Oh, you did, that's right. Oh, that game is so good. And I would bring people over and then just stomp them, and I'd feel so bad.
You don't feel bad, you liar.
Because it's a fun game, but I don't want to just let... I think it's like, I let you win is like more embarrassing than just killing him, you know? So on the topic of other controllers, let's talk about like the couch side-by-side local multiplayer. That's something that definitely favors consoles more than PC.
Don't you know that when you were going to a friend's house to play video games, you bring your own TV.
You bring your own TV? I've never heard that rule. That's craziness.
That's what my brothers do.
Yeah.
What?
That's what brothers do. My brother have his 3 friends over. There's times where he's had 4 other friends over, and they all have big giant TVs.
What the heck? That's crazy. What do? You plug it into so it's like split screen, but each one in different TVs?
So, everyone brings their own console too. So it's
okay.
all set up. So no one's doing the local multiplayers. Because a lot of games don't offer local player. They do you have to be onto different consoles to do it. I don't know what it's called. Online multiplayer.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm talking about, you going over to your friends, throw some old school Halo in. If I went over to, I had a friend named Richard in high school, and if he was like, hey, you want to come play some Halo? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, bring your TV. I'd be like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing that. That's crazy.
I actually, with that new Halo that came out, not Halo 5, it was the Halo collection before the 5th one came out.
Yeah, the Master Chief Edition.
Yeah, when I first got my Xbox, I actually did that. I took my TV and I went over to Amber Lynn's house and I stayed the night at her house. And we played, even though it has the option to do the split screen, we played on 2 different TVs. We were playing the game.
I mean, that is pretty cool, and that is the better way to do it. But, I mean, can't always do that.
You don't get that line.
They still do that to this day. They all bring their TV over to a different person's house.
I saw this one meme. It was kids these days don't know what it's like to set up a LAN party. And it shows these guys running across this parking lots with the laundry baskets full of computer towers and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think I've seen memes with where people bring their own TV. And it's a room with the people, and they have the TVs in every little area that they could possibly fit it.
That's pretty good. I mean, it sounds like so much fun.
Granted, I told you my nostalgia machine, my GameCube. I can't bring my GameCube to someone else's place without bringing my mini CRT.
Oh, nice.
I enjoy it so much. Oh, that's a good one.
I'm posting images we can't see these on the podcast, but.
Oh, I was giving you that one with the 3D printed steering wheel.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What was that? I thought that was a 3D printed steering wheel. That's pretty crazy. Wonder how well that works.
He said it was pretty well.
Nice.
So, you treat that as, a steering wheel for...
Like a racing game.
Oh, that's cool. They have something like that for, the Wii. You, insert the Wii controller into, a steering wheel.
Oh, yeah. But that works using, the tilt controls.
Motion tracking, yeah.
Yeah. This one's just attached to the stick, it looks like.
Yeah. It looks cool still, though.
Oh, it's on, a little rack and pinion. I see how it works now. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was attached to the right-hand thumbstick, but I see it now. That's really funny. That actually looks like it works really nicely.
Yeah, it's free, I think, on Makerspace or something.
Thingiverse or something.
We will post that on Twitter for people so they can see what we are talking about.
Oh, yeah, there
later.
we go. Yeah, link in the description.
It'd be really funny if we just didn't do that and just said we were going to.
Yeah, that might happen too. Sorry, guys. We still have to post our collections. I haven't done that yet. It took over a week and a half to post Jacob's recipe that he found for the pork.
Everyone's like, man, I really want this crockpot pork, but can't have it.
So it will go up there eventually. I'll remember eventually to post it.
I always feel like recipes are any pulled pork recipe is going to be fine. You know what I mean? It's functional. There's nothing magic to this recipe. Just search crockpot pulled pork and you'll get
Ricky doesn't
something.
eat pork at all.
Oh, no? Why not?
Mm-mm.
You don't like pork.
Pig's a filthy animal. I don't eat filthy animal.
He actually had pork yesterday, though.
One-time deal.
It was a one-time deal. We went to this ramen place, so it's a ramen shop in, it's called Ramen Naruto. So
nice.
it was Naruto theme and stuff like that. So they had a Naruto ramen dish, and that's what he ate. And I was like, that's gonna have pork in it. He was like, that's fine. For Naruto, okay.
That's funny. I like pork. I think it's delicious. Probably my favorite meat, other than maybe fish. I don't know. I like them all, but differently.
No, I don't care too much. I'll eat pork. I'm not like Nick and Frank, who don't like to eat pork and they won't eat pork unless it's pepperoni.
With me, I'll eat it. It's not my favorite. I rather beef or maybe chicken is my favorite.
Let's talk about team multiplayer. So, don't you know about, let's say that you are...
You mean co-op?
I don't have much experience being the worst player on the team, but what are some don't you knows for if you're the worst player on the team?
Don't you know Doom is a dying game?
I was bottom of the team for Doom. I was doing pretty poorly online. I don't know what it was. I could not figure that game out. Could not figure it out.
So, for me, because I usually am the worst player on the team. I usually will try to stick with whoever's actually a good player and try to stick with them.
That is a really good strategy, and I think that, that's a big part of it, except that you're the bottom of the team, and...
Until you blow their cover and then get them killed.
Yeah, you usually get the other person killed. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
I mean, don't take the best character of the loot.
When me and my brother, not Frank, but Nick, when we played Halo, I would basically just kind of run ahead and just run to the next checkpoint, basically, and Nick was actually the one that did the fighting. And then when he died, I would have to go run and hide until he came back.
Just teleport up in front.
Yeah, and then I would run to the next checkpoint.
That's funny. Oh, good old Halo. I haven't played it in so long.
I played Halo online for like the first time when that Master Edition came out. And oh my god, it was so different than playing Halo, the story mode version.
Oh yeah, it's a whole different game.
Completely, like, different. It almost felt like I was playing with different controllers, too, because
oh, yeah?
I could fight off all the aliens, no problem, and then you get into that game, and it's like, why can't I kill you guys even just once?
Poking out too far.
Cool. So, let's talk a little bit, maybe, about some more recent games that came out. I know a lot of people have been talking about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I literally just saw a video posted by a YouTuber I like.
What's your opinion on it, Frankie? Because I know you've played it. You've beat it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game.
You beat it already. When did it come out?
Tuesday?
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Have you been putting a lot of hours on it, or is it, like, small?
The story mode's small, but it has other things in it.
Okay.
Which I haven't beat. It was good, but the ending was really rushed. I could tell how rushed it was.
Okay.
Yeah, with Mortal Kombat, it has, like, lots of other things you could do, like the towers, where you, like, almost like a tournament kind of thing. They have the crypt where you go and use coins that you've earned to open up crypts to get armor and stuff like that.
Yeah, they've had the crypt for a long time, or some variants of it.
I got the character pass, so when those new characters come out, I'll have them.
That's pretty cool, actually.
They have a lot of gear.
How does it compare? Have you played 10? This is 11.
Yeah, this is 11. I have 10 as well.
How does it compare? Is it better? Is it more features?
I think actually 10 has less features. I think 10 has less features because they have Jason and like 2 or 3 more others. This one's going to have like 8 characters, I think.
I thought 9.
Oh, 9.
Nice.
But I don't think they're as cool as features as 10, though. Because, like, come on, you had Jason. This one's going to have, like, it had talk about DC, and it's like, ooh, and it looks like it's going to be the Joker. That doesn't count.
How does that not count?
Because when you say DC, you think of one of the superheroes, like Shazam, or Superman, or The Flash, not... Oh, the Joker.
I would not think of a character like Shazam. I have never even heard of this character. I like how that's the first one you pull up.
That's because the movie just came out. I've seen it like 3 times already.
What?
Joker makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Batman would have been cooler.
He's a bloody guy.
Batman would have been
kills
killer.
People.
Batman actually, his goal is to hurt the bad guy into talking.
He knocks him out.
Yeah, but he doesn't kill. Unlike the Joker.
In some of the comic books, I think he does kill.
Yeah, but he doesn't do it. He just doesn't go outside and say, I'm gonna kill someone today.
That's true. You know they're coming out with a Joker movie.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be as good as the Harley Quinn one?
I don't know. I just saw a trailer. What? I don't remember what movie I went and saw, but I saw a trailer for the Joker. I don't know. It's kind of weird because he doesn't seem very bright in it. Like, the Joker's always been kind of almost able to outwit Batman kind of thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this one doesn't seem very smart at all. He just seems crazy like him.
Dumb brute. That's funny. Oh, so you're talking about modern games. I guess the most modern game I've been playing is Monster Hunter World, which isn't even really that new anymore. It's been out for a few months.
I would argue the opposite. It's still super trending, in my opinion.
I've got a friend with 300 hours in it, though.
Yeah, just...
I guess you could do that, yeah.
It's not necessarily a new game, but they're about to release that DLC that's going to triple the game, and everyone's waiting on that currently.
Yeah, but,
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was going to say, they're doing that for Path of Exile last year, and that game's been around for 10 years. But it is still definitely a relevant game, I guess. Yeah, so I guess that's the most relevant game I'm playing. Jude's going through Resident Evil 2. That just came out.
Oh.
Yeah, that game's good. That was good.
He's got a playthrough going on,
I do indeed.
and he likes it.
Yeah.
There are points that I don't like playing it, but you'll see those in the video.
This is a little spooky.
I think that came out the same time that one of the games I went and got. I think it was maybe My Hero, I think, came out the same day. So, like, it had a huge giant line when I went to go get My Hero. And when I went, I was like, oh, I'm just getting My Hero. They're like, oh, you can go on in. You don't have to wait in this line.
That's funny.
No, I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. Every single moment playing the game, I'm having a really, really good time. It's very well made.
I thought I was going to play like one playthrough, but then I ended up playing like 4 or 5.
Oh, you've actually played it and beat it?
Yeah, I beat it like 5 times.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
We're not that far.
I'm on my first one right now.
Yeah, it was really...
We're still in the police station. No spoilers.
I've only seen Frankie play in like one building. I've seen him play it, and I thought that was the only building that there was for the whole game. And so then when I saw him leave it, I don't even remember what building it was, but then when I saw him leave it, I was like, wait, what's going on? Because he's played it, because like he said, he's played it like 5 times. So I've seen him, every time I see him playing, it's always in that same building.
Oh, yeah.
Just with different characters. So I was like, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm playing with this character now.
That's
And I'm like,
interesting.
oh, okay. So I didn't realize it was multiple buildings.
That's funny.
What? It's multiple buildings? What?
Oh, I thought it was just taking place. Dang.
I thought it took place only in this building.
Spoiled it.
I was like, that's boring.
I can't go on with my series anymore,
I
Jake.
thought it
just
was
gotta take
canon
over.
that he dies in there.
Oh. I thought you were supposed to pick hard mode.
There have been a couple of canon endings where he's died. Actually, no, yeah, I think you've died just a couple times.
Nope, only once.
Only once? Oh, yeah.
Only that once.
That's right. Not too bad. We gotta record another episode of that. We could do a 2-hour bonanza here, too. Man, I thought about recording when we were playing at Monster Hunter World yesterday.
I did too.
Pretty funny when we were doing that. Something happened. I can't remember what it was. It was pretty good.
Is that on a PC game?
It is a PC game, yeah. We're playing over Steam.
So what about the game that you're playing right now, Frankie? You got so excited you were like rushing me to get to mom so you could get the game. Raquel, when are we leaving? When are we leaving, Raquel?
Days Gone, yeah.
Days Gone. I haven't heard of that.
It's a dude that... People like to say it's a zombie game, but it's not because they're called freakers, which they need they hibernate, they need water, they need like things. And they'll sometimes even... I've seen a couple of times where they're eating each other.
So cannibalistic.
Yeah. It's cool because it's not just people, it's also animals and all that. And then there's a lot of people in there. And it really focuses on a different kind I don't think I've really seen games, is where it focuses on a bike, more of a person, like a dude in a bike game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you have to care for your bike, you gotta make sure it's fuel, and then you have to customize it.
That's pretty cool, because that's talked about a lot. And, everyone's always said in Fallout, oh, why can't I fix up one of these cars? How are all these cars irreparable? So being able to have, a bike in a game kind of like that sounds pretty cool. It looks like it's wilderness survival kind of stuff.
Sorry to say, I just came up upon a review that says 20 hours in, Days Gone is an ugly, miserable experience, quote unquote.
That's what I've been hearing too, but I haven't got... Everyone's been saying that it's glitchy and terrible, but I've never gotten a glitch or anything.
Frank is just, immune to glitches.
I know.
I
Or
don't.
maybe Frank just thinks it's part of the game every time. Like, the guy just, teleports into the sky, and he's like, huh, good artistic choice, I like it.
I don't know. I thought it was really good.
Oh, my hand
and
went
it's
through this
different.
so well.
I just think, I don't know, it just seems like everyone wants to hate it because PlayStation does so good now that they don't want to accept that another game of theirs is doing really good.
They're taking it personal.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Him and his defending his PS4.
I mean, shoot, God of War and Spider-Man did really good, and then now you have Days Gone, everyone's hating on it? I don't see it.
People love to hate on stuff, though. I think people are happier hating something than they are enjoying something. It's some certain people. And I mean, honestly, it would get boring if we were like, oh yeah, the game was perfect. Oh yeah, this game was perfect too. Oh yeah, every game's perfect. It would be really fun, but would it? I don't know. Maybe that would be perfect.
It's definitely not the worst game this year. I already know that.
What's the worst game this year?
Well, that's a good discussion topic.
I don't know.
Well, then how can you know it's not this if you know it's not?
Because I know one game that was worse this year, but I can't remember the name of it. It's in my head, but I can't remember the name.
I don't think I've really played it. I haven't played too many bad games.
I'm gonna have to put some of these on Twitter, Jude.
Oh, I just saw those.
He's got a whole bunch of PC Master Race game little memes.
I can't help myself, I'm sorry.
Any input device you want. That's smarter. That's funny.
Well, I was thinking about it because you guys were talking about Resident Evil and dying. I was thinking a good discussion would be when playing video game. Should there be checkpoints when you die you go back to, or do you think there should be no checkpoints?
So you're talking more about rogue games?
Where it's one life and then you die and it's gone, hardcore rogue.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, you think about it, when you play, like, arcade games, you don't, like, you might have, like, 3 lives or something like that, but then once that's it, that's game over, you have to start over. Whereas Halo has it where you got, like, all your checkpoints, you just kind of go back to whatever checkpoint. And so you only have the 1 life.
I'm gonna pull in It Depends, where, like, certain games have different feels and different pacing and stuff. It's like you play something like Don't Starve, which has been real popular this last couple weeks. And way back old, too. But where it's, like, intended to be a rogue, and so you go 1 life, and that's how it goes. That makes that game part of what it is. Whereas other games, like Halo, you were saying, where you do get the checkpoints, that's supposed to keep the pacing. Because if you had to restart the whole level every time, it's gonna get more frustrating. People don't play it I mean, some people play it for a challenge, and you definitely do.
Rage quit.
Yeah, but lots of people, like, you want to feel like the baddest dude ever, aka Master Chief, you know? So if you're getting severely punished and smacked every single time, nah, that's not the way to play that game. You're supposed to feel like a hero. So now save scum it, go back. That's how I play Fallout, is I save scum.
I found that game I was thinking about.
What was the game?
It was called Left Alive.
Left Alive. And you said it was bad?
Yeah, I heard it was pretty bad, and I've seen some videos and it looks terrible.
Yeah, well, you haven't played it, you can't say it.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't play it. Days Gone and they'll say it's trash. And it's because they watch videos.
For sure. Okay. So I think I only have one more topic here for us to discuss, and it is getting, I don't know if it's quite our 2-hour mark yet, but it's still definitely our longest podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Well, real quick, Jude, what do you think about checkpoints? Because I know that you had to make a decision whether or not to use ink ribbons in your Resident Evil playthrough.
Okay, so you see, it's really hard for me because I'm already really about like the difficulty.
Yeah, you like a brutal challenge.
I really like a good challenge.
He'd rather play for 2 hours and make 20 minutes of progress, but feel like he did it.
I'm trying to process what you just said.
I'm saying you spend like 2 hours doing the same spot.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
So you might have like 200 hours in a game and not be done with it. It's a 60-hour game.
I feel like Jake said it very, very well, because obviously we come from a lot of the same background.
Yeah, that's very true.
We experience games, we kind of more like appreciate a lot about more the intent of the artist's design, and basically what they're going for. When you take a classic and true rogue game like that, where you get one shot at the game and you die, it's kind of like the whole spiel of it, is that it's about seeing how much you can make in the difficulty of a single lifetime in a game. You know, like Don't Starve or something. Granted, there are ways to come back, but
yeah.
It's kind of the draw of these things. Now, a well-made rogue game can be amazing, but a poorly made rogue game can turn off a lot of players. I mean, you think back on, like, the days of, like, the really, really old consoles, like, I think the Genesis or something like that. You'd be playing, like, Contra or something, and you die and you got to start all over again.
Oh, yeah, or like the arcade coin guzzlers. They're intentionally hard.
Excuse my not having knowledge if, like, I wasn't on the Genesis or whatever. I don't really remember.
No, it's okay. I don't know what it was for either.
I mean, there was a time for that, and I think that thing's time has passed for bad rogues because they met a purpose. And it was to kind of appeal to a clientele. Whereas nowadays, you kind of get more like a specific genre of people who play video games now. And a lot of them do analyze a lot of games for things like that. Let's talk about Resident Evil again. You know, those ink ribbons. The thing about those old Resident Evil games and using ink ribbons...
Real clarification. Ink ribbons are tokens that you have to use in order to save. And so if you have 6 ink ribbons, you can only save 6 times, and then you gotta find more. They're like usable items that you have to use to save.
And so, the entire draw of that is to invoke the fear of losing progress. That's the whole point. In that aspect, that's the whole draw. The fear is not of the zombie. The fear is not of actually dying or experiencing pain of your character. It's about being set back. And that's the whole draw of the game.
To me, that breaks my immersion sometimes, because it pulls me out. If I'm thinking about, do I have enough time to keep playing this game? I'm not thinking about, is my character going to survive? Am I going to be eaten by a zombie? I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have to restart. I'm going to have to go back and do this differently. I don't want to do that.
Well, sure. That's where the fear comes in.
Yeah, but that's a very gamey thing.
Well, I suppose. I appreciate it, and I guess that might be maybe a specific thing. And, I mean, you don't really play Resident Evil games anymore.
No, not really.
And probably for that reason. But for me, it's something I really enjoy. I like to see these alternative gameplay vehicles, you know, these methods of which you progress through the game that add these different aspects of challenge. Now, for games like Halo, you get a really long game. And if you really want to project an incredibly long story or something with difficulty, like a high amount and degree of difficulty and requires ability, then not having checkpoints would make it a very specified group of people who would still play that.
Right.
But I don't know. I think it all comes down to artists' intent and what the actual community is looking for.
And then the ability to change it up on the fly, too. Like, I think that's... And it depends on, like, if you're playing a single-player game. Going back to Fallout real quickly, is, like, you can choose if you want to save scum, whether, I'm gonna save and then throw the grenade, I didn't kill him, I'm gonna save, and really ham it up. You can, but if you really want to, like, appreciate that game and live with your mistakes, then you can kind of pick where you want to go. I know that I would not save scum a game like The Witcher, because I would want to live with everything I did.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it comes down to more to the ideology of open-endedness in games. It's a very modern concept.
Right.
Being able to experience the game exactly how you want. You can't really define specific aspects. Like, you think of Detroit Become Human, where you've got all these different choices you can make that change the outcome of your situation. And it's important that you're able to define how these games work and how you want to see it. Because that's how you get the final product being a game about choices. But some players don't want that. Some players want to cheat in a bunch of console codes and fly and glitch the game out. And they want to become all-powerful beings that never had to work for a single diamond block.
Some kids like to read books, other kids like to throw books.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, well, I guess saying more about that, I don't like to cheat personally. I feel like that takes all the fun out of a game. But some people are completely into that.
When I'm going in God mode, I know that that's like the last time I'm going to play that game, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's particularly why I like difficult games, and I like rogue games a lot, because the more difficult a game is, the longer it's going to take you to get everything out of it.
Yeah, speaking of the rogue game, it made me, like, every time you're talking about it, it made me keep thinking about that one game that came out when me and you were in college, Jacob, was that Slenderman game.
Oh, yeah.
With all the 7 papers.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of a fun little thing. I remember when Slender was real big.
I miss that era.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be coming out with a movie for it.
Yeah,
I think they did, and it was really, really bad.
Yeah, but is it the same? Is it the same, like...
Do you find it? You could do it kind of like the, on Netflix, they have this one TV show now, where you actually pick, like, choices, and depending on what choice you pick, depends, like, what route the character goes into. So it's almost like a video game, but it's still like a film.
Dun dun.
Okay.
Raquel, you said you had one about mobile games, and then I guess we can wrap up.
Yeah, I figured, I don't really have too much about mobile games, like, in general, but I figure that should be something that maybe we should talk about. I mean, there's a lot of people who do mobile games. Maybe not really, like, true gamers, but...
The mobile games.
It's definitely a very big thing, because we're always on our phones, we always have our phones. So there's always, when I ride the bus, I usually see someone playing some type of game on their phone. I just started playing Clash of Clans again, because one of my coworkers plays it, and I was like, okay, I'll play too.
Oh yeah, Clash of Clans. We had a good amount of time on that. We were in a little group together.
Yeah, and then Jacob dropped out, and Frankie dropped out, and...
Oh yeah.
I was all left all by myself.
And then you dropped out.
The games that require day-to-day playing just kill me. Ugh.
I was really big into that at the time because where I was working, we didn't really have any work coming in, so we spent pretty much the whole time on our phone. So.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, they are good. They definitely serve a purpose where you... I'm seeing all the things that Jude's posted in. I mean, they definitely serve a purpose. And, I mean, I've put... a guilty pleasure of mine was, in many lives ago, I played a lot of Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm.
But only because it's so similar to Bejeweled. It's matching 3. I like matching 3.
Yeah, I was playing that for a little bit, and then... Because I played it for a little bit, and then I stopped playing. I was like, screw that, I don't want to play anymore. And then I moved here, and I see my aunt always playing it, and my cousin was always playing it, so I started playing it again. And then now I haven't played it. I don't even know if I still have it on my phone. Go through phases.
Yeah, pick it up, drop them, pick them up, drop them.
A lot of the games I stopped playing, like mobile games, because they require you to basically be on your phone the whole time.
Yeah, they're intentionally designed like that, so you're looking at ads while you're playing.
Yeah, because like I used to play that Family game, the Family Guy game, and I got tired of playing it because for you to get like the special like prize at the end, you have to do all these challenges. But for you to be able to accomplish all the challenges, you have to be able to do it in like a timely, like each thing has a certain time.
Oh.
So if you don't like come back to the game right as that first challenge ended, so that you could do the next one, then you would run out of time before you beat the whole thing and get the reward at the very end. And I was like, screw that. Who can be on their phone this whole time?
You got ads the whole time?
So, yeah.
Do you? I don't know that game.
Not on Family Guy. I don't think there was ads.
Oh, I don't know. I had no idea.
So.
Yeah, I don't ever want to be a slave to a video game.
Okay, what about our discussion with ads? Because that's a good topic to bring up, especially with mobile games. Because that is like a big thing when it comes to mobile games, is when you have your console games and all that stuff, you don't ever have to worry about ads.
No, because you paid for it.
Mobile games are like a legit thing. And so it's kind of like, some of them will let you pay and not have the ads. What are you guys' opinion on it? I don't know. I don't, a lot of times if I have to deal with ads, I won't even play the game at all.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like, there's some games where like every time you go to like the next level, it'll have like a new ad.
30-second advertisement for something, and you go to click X and it's actually part of the ad, and it's like, oh, you are the worst. You're the scum of the ad.
But if it's like a little banner at the bottom or something like that, I don't really care. Or if you get extra points, but for it to like completely disrupt your game, that's when it's like, no.
The question is it a piece of art? Is it an expression of the artist? Or is it a product? If it feels like a product, if it feels like you're spoon feeding me something or whatever, I'm not interested. If it's art, if it's creative expression with a good challenge or something, that's what I want. And ads don't fit anywhere in that.
So, for me, mobile gaming, we're still on mobile gaming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only one with ads.
For me, mobile gaming feels like, you ever seen the evolution of man? It goes from monkey to like in between and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the phone's a step back, and this is natural selection. That's where I'm going to leave that.
For our viewers at home, he's posted a picture of the monkey and then stands up, goes to Neanderthal, and he's got the tool on his back, and then he's hunched over looking at his phone. It's like he's devolved.
That's how I feel. And I feel like it's a necessary step for humanity to take to weed out some people. And I'm going to leave that there.
I'll post it on Twitter.
That's funny.
It's just, why would you invest more time on your phone pretending to play any sort of game when you could be like at the forefront of games?
I'll play devil's advocate. Kind of looks like he's holding a Nintendo DS or a Switch right there.
Well, you need to get your eyes checked.
What's wrong with Game Boy? I mean, portable gaming and looking down at a screen. Mom could post that same picture about the Game Boy.
Because Nintendo didn't throw Xbox ads. And I can't even say that. I was going to say like never mind. Ads. Ads run the world. And they're disgusting. And I refuse to spend more time on them.
Yeah, I don't know this.
They're not going to get a single ounce of my time if I don't have to give it to them.
Yeah, I don't know that like it's worth having a discussion on if ads are a positive thing in a video game. I think nobody's going to admit to that. It's money.
It enables that culture, and I refuse to give it any sense.
Eh.
Okay, what about another big thing with mobile gaming, which definitely throws people off, is
microtransaction.
Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's a big discussion.
Getting the free game, but then having to like buy stuff to beat it. Like, I don't mind if maybe you can buy stuff and it gives you like a boost to help you like beat it, but for you to actually be able to beat it, you have to buy like whatever this is.
Yeah, and that's a huge discussion point that goes back and forth, is the how do you draw that line? It's a very, very, very blurred line there. It's like, some people say strictly cosmetics. If it does nothing to change the gameplay, then it's fine. But,
yeah.
And I think that's pretty fair. If it's just cosmetic, I think that's A-okay.
And I also don't like it when it's like you buy the thing and it helps you kind of like, and maybe not really like helps you beat the game. You can beat it without it, but it gives you like an advantage over other people. Because some people like will just spend all the money. Like if you're like Clash of Clans, you can like spend the money and get like gems, and so then you can like upgrade your stuff like so much quicker. And then now you're on like a lower level, but yet you spent all this money, so now your equipment's like a higher level.
Yeah,
so when
you're going to have an edge. You paid and you have a gameplay advantage.
Yeah.
Now, it could be argued that part of that game, part of the entirety of the game, is devoting that time and money to the game to actually get that edge. And it's something that other people aren't willing to do.
Yeah, but the devs would love to create that environment. Oh, whoever pays us the most money wins. It's like, is that a game you really want to play?
No, definitely not.
I guess you could create it and then just let the market sort it out. I don't know. One thing I've seen a lot that's kind of on what Raquel was talking about is, so say you're playing a game where you're shooting each other. You can buy the better gun, and that gives you a gameplay advantage. Obviously, that's pay to win. What about, you can unlock this gun with whatever, but you can pay money to get a bonus experience to earn that gun faster. Is that legal? What do you think? Is that fair? Where it doesn't affect gameplay, but it lets you get to the good guns faster. Is that a fair pay to win?
I think that's fine. Because, I mean, like, the thing, as long as someone else could still get it without having to pay, yes, they might have to put more time into it, but if you have to put more time into it to get it, then and you're willing to do that, then you're already invested.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be a better player by that point.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to, you would want to, if you're already investing that time to do something like that, then you wouldn't get mad for someone else, being able to get to it, because the whole point of you wanting to do it is play the game, right?
Let's say you and I start playing, though, and I throw in $20 and I get it faster, and now I'm beating you the whole time, and you're not even leveling up the whole time, because you keep losing and you can't get points.
Well, if I'm playing against you, then of course, remember, if you die for a stupid reason, rage quit.
Well, I'm thinking player A and player B, not necessarily you and me. I'm thinking equal skilled players.
For me, I understand where you guys are coming at from this, but I would take a different mindset to this in terms of, the developer's intention. If the developer's intention is to give somebody an edge for paying them, I think that's a skewed game. I think there's a problem with that. But if there's anything that a gamer could give money to the developers to promote the game, and they're getting rewarded for that, I think that's a different mindset. And so, especially for a free-to-play game like Warframe, Jake, like we were playing the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pay a little bit of money and support the development team who does it all for free, and they will reward you with a little bit of an edge over the game. I think that's different than trying to destroy everyone else in the game by paying money that some people don't even really have to work for. It's just given to them by their parents or something like that.
Yeah.
I just don't like it in $60 games.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
That's why I play PC. Sorry, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It was discounted, but I just bought a $60 game. This is a good topic too. I saw something about, the idea of games getting more expensive, and it was a YouTube group called Extra Credits. They're really, really, really good. They do a lot of, videos and stuff that's lessons learned about video games and how to make video games as devs and stuff. But not how to, but ethical discussions and things. Anyway, one of the things is is $60 too much? And they got talking that if you look at inflation and everything, really $100 is about where it should be. If you look at the product versus all the labor into it, but we've held it at 60.
Yeah, I've paid $100 for Mortal Kombat. And that's because I got the deluxe edition, so I have the character pass.
Oh yeah, I'm talking base game though.
Yeah, base game.
You can always pay more for something.
Yeah. I think where it comes down to it is also 60 is fine, but when it comes down to 60, then having to pay for this, because you can't truly beat the game unless you have this download content or the DLC. That's when it comes out. I don't mind DLCs, especially if it just kind of adds maybe a custom for your character or whatever, or more characters for Mortal Kombat. But when it comes down to you can't actually beat the game unless you have this DLC. That's when it's different.
That's a scam for sure. I've never heard of that before. I've always seen it as an expansion pack.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any games like that, but I've heard some people...
Resident Evil Revelations.
Was that like that?
Resident Evil 2 Revelations. Yeah, you've got to buy each episode for the rest of the story.
Now, that's more of an episodic thing, though. I think if it's pitched as episodic, I think that's fine.
You buy the game, and then you buy the episode.
Yeah, I think there was...
That's too much.
Didn't, Deus Ex, the new one, recently do something like that?
Human Revolution?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I got the game for free. Not for free. I got it in a bundle for buying a processor.
Oh, okay.
And a PC I was building.
Gotcha.
They're like, here's a free game. And then it's you only get the first mission. It's I paid $300 for a processor.
And got a demo with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's I don't know.
Yeah, because with the Breath of Wild, I got the DLC for that. And they have the first DLC had the Master Sword Trials. And that's just a completely side quest. It makes your sword more strong, helps you beat the game faster and all that stuff, but you don't need it to beat the game.
And also, that's a single player game. Single player game, go wild. I do not mind what you let the player buy.
Yeah.
But multiplayer has to be balanced.
Yeah.
As far as gaming prices, I think 40 is about how much I like to spend on games. Because I just wait for sales and stuff. I got Steam sales. And usually you can find stuff. But, I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, there is so much work that goes into it. And the problem is that, oh, goodness. As games get more complex, they get more and more expensive to make. I mean, you just have to think if your map is a square mile, you got to build everything in that. And then next year, it has to be bigger. So now it's a 1.25 square miles. Now you have to make more, and you're expecting it to be the same price. But you've also got harder AI to develop. You've got a whole different and probably longer story to develop or whatever. So it gets more expensive, and we're still wanting to keep the price the same.
I think there are counterpoints to that, Jake. For example, Minecraft.
Well, yeah, Minecraft is
Elite
very
Dangerous.
much an exception to a lot of rules, but I'm thinking more like GTA. I mean, GTA 6 is going to have to be bigger. Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to have to be bigger.
You have to keep in mind, though, with some of these, like, yeah, they're bigger and bigger, but they have such a big fan base that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So they're probably selling that game more and more and more, which also helps offset that cost.
I think that's a fair point.
That is a good point.
The thing is, I've never really... I really like open world games.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that because it shows like kind of a potential for unlimited like ability to play the game and to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's potentially never ending.
But there's a point where a lot of that becomes unusable and nobody's ever going to venture out there, and it just becomes quantity over quality.
So I see you've played No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've
I
stopped.
don't understand the joke.
Oh, I was joking that that's a case in point of that, is quantity over quality. But you have actually played it, and I know that you like that game.
Oh, I really did. I haven't been able to play since you saw me playing a long time ago.
Okay.
And I just haven't picked it back up.
Basically, what I've heard from critics is that it is limitless, but you end up just selling to different skin stuff. It's the same thing with just different skins.
Yeah, that's sure. And that's where I was kind of going with that, and kind of out of experience, is that there's a point where you don't really need that extent. People are fine with just a good game. You know, look at how many times they've bought Skyrim. Skyrim's a large game, but there's a point where, though everyone's explored it all, they've bought it 7 times for different implements because it's a good game.
Yeah, at that point, like a sandbox game, you can buy a sandbox and play for millions of hours, like a literal sandbox, and make castles and throw your action figures in it or whatever. If you build a good base, then your imagination is the only limit.
That's correct. And the thing is, imagination is a limitless thing. And when you incorporate that in a game where you allow the imagination, somebody's creativity, to determine the extent of their gameplay in any aspect, you have potential for limitless ability, given or not how much that's rewarded throughout the actual gameplay.
Now, the problem is when you only rely on the player's imagination, you get a game like Fallout 76 that has no content. I'm just joking. I can't trash 76. I haven't played it.
Jacob.
Well, I've seen like 45-minute videos tearing it apart. I have some expertise.
I've heard a theory.
I played it.
Oh, what do you think?
Yeah. Is it fun? It looks like it's fun.
It's fun, but I just don't like how there's really just, the missions are the same. There's no story mode, and there's no, like, end goal, which I like in games.
At least some direction.
I've heard Todd Howard.
God Howard, the man.
Yeah. I've heard he made 76 for not to be good, but so they could justify upgrading their systems. I've heard the theory about that. And, like, he knew it was going to be a bomb, and they had to market it up very well. So that way it tanked, so they could build up their systems to build Elder Scrolls 6. And it's a theory, but there are a few theories like that he's...
It to be the nail in the coffin and say, this engine we've used since Morrowind is dead, we need a new one. Look at 76, it's done.
Some is like around that area. Like they needed to justify it to their managers. If they're like...
They're managers, he owns the company. Well, I guess really shareholders own the company.
Okay, guys. I know my iPad's almost dying. And I think Frank's computer's almost dying.
It's come to the
but we
end.
had a whole nother 2 hours in us.
We were going to talk about
I
God
know.
Howard.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Maybe we'll just each do just one Don't You Know, and then we'll just end it on that,
I had this big long list of Bethesda Don't You Knows. Just done.
Oh.
Don't go too hard until the next game they got.
That's Frankie's Don't You Know. Okay, mine is, Don't You Know, button smashing is perfectly acceptable in fighting games.
How's that working for you in Mortal Kombat?
I haven't played it yet. Frankie hasn't given me the chance to.
You'll have to follow up next week.
Just mash those buttons.
Yep.
I think that's all I got. I've had a good, thorough conversation.
Okay, what about you, Jude? You end us out. Last Don't You Know.
Don't you know, I'm really hungry, and I've been looking at my foods for the last 20 minutes.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
until next time, guys. No, you're good. Until next time, guys, don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to share us. You can send us some suggestions or your own things for playing video games at Twitter, don'tyouknowpod, or at email, don'tyouknowpod@gmail.com. So until next time, guys, see ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.